Thank you for staying with us. Workers in Anambra State and the state governor, Charles Soludo, may be heading for several rounds of discussions on the way forward. This is as the governor threatened to cut salaries of workers who stay away from work on Mondays, which had become a sit-at-home day in many Southeast states. This is despite the suspension of the Monday sit-at-home in the Southeast introduced by the Indigenous People of Biafra in 2021 to protest the arrest of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu. IPOB had continuously said it has suspended the order, but the people have continued to observe it for fear of attack. Mr. Soludo, while addressing the state workers during the 2023 May Day celebration, said Monday sit-at-home has become an excuse for workers to stop coming to work on Mondays, insisting that such cannot continue. Well, joining us in the studio is President Igbo Youth Congress, Bright Izocha. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Right. And political advisor to the governor of Anambra State, Dr. Alex Ogbiogbolu, joins us via Zoom. Dr. Ogbiogbolu, good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning. It's my pleasure. Good morning, listeners.
Right. Now, the governor, your principal, has received backlash with regards to this statement. But let's get from you the official position of the government on this sit-at-home order.
No, the government has always said, thank you very much for having me on the show. And I just want to reiterate that the government position has always been that there is no holiday on a Monday, unless otherwise declared by the state government. And none has been declared yet. And workers are expected to be in the office from Mondays to Fridays, which are the official working hours and days. And like you said, the IPOB organization has also distanced itself from any stay-at-home order. And again, the security situation in the state has improved tremendously. And as I tell you, if you visit Anambra State on Mondays, you will see vehicular movement all over the state. So people are back, businesses are back. A few who are chosen in the private sector to remain closed on Mondays is of their choice, not of any other thing. And the state government requires that people come to work. You must understand that civil servants are the engine room of any state organization. They help the political government to run and administer the state. So for the success of the Professor Charles Soludo administration, civil servants are a critical aspect of it. And that was what he was trying to explain to them. While appreciating them for what they've done in the past 1 year, the support they had extended to his administration, the success that had been recorded, he admonished them on the need for those who were not coming to work on Mondays to endeavor to come to work on Mondays. Because as of today, there still remain quite a large number of them that come to work on Mondays.
When you said the security situation in the state has improved, perhaps you need to give us a better understanding of what it is, because the workers are demanding that you ensure that the governor ensures that the state is safe, provide buses for them and all of that for them to be able to come to work on Mondays.
No, you know, one thing about us as a people in Nigeria is that from experience, you see that people love holidays. And the issue of security, no one can use that, because even among the civil servants, among the populace and residents of Anambra, it's a general consensus that security has improved tremendously. And don't forget that security perception is part of reality. So the perception of the people is that security has improved remarkably. And that is why you still see civil servants coming to work on Mondays. The governor wasn't saying that all of them don't come to work. He was admonishing those who don't come. I mean, I have staff in my office and they come to work on Mondays.
Now,
so for me, when you look again at security situation, how do you rate it? We know in any society, there are bound to be people who use violence as a means of communication. There are bound to be robberies, burglaries, violent crimes, but the ability of the state machinery to apprehend them and prosecute them is what determines your level of security. In other crimes, of which I don't want to mention countries, every day there are shootings, but they actually are able to locate the people. And that is what we're doing in Anambra. We have said severally that when you come, you commit any act, you will be caught, you will be apprehended in Anambra. Take, for example, just last week, less than a week ago, 3 young men who are not indigenous of the state took part in a crime, kidnapped someone. Within the next 24 hours, they were apprehended. Take, for instance, those who said there were not going to be elections in Anambra State. They went in to attack a police station, they were apprehended and gunned down. They went in to attack a local government, they were caught. So the situation in Anambra has improved tremendously, and that has given room for development. More people are coming in, investors are coming in, because the dream and aspiration of the administration is that we will move to an industrial and technological and leisure hub. That would be what Anambra will be known for.
Well, we need to clarify, because there are some ambiguities in the minds of people now. Was it a threat or was it an admonition?
It was an admonition. It was a threat.
Because some people are saying, so what is going on? How did it get around that it threatened pay cut? How did the idea of pay cut come in if it was an admonition and so on? Because it's about how it was phrased.
Okay, let me just give you an example. You work for TBC. In your engagement, there are working hours that you've been asked to put in. If you don't put in those working hours, you don't get a threat, you get a query. And from your query, it may be scaled up to a caution. The second time, it may lead to deduction of your wages because you have to earn what you work. The next one, it may lead to dismissal. So every organization has its rules. And there's a scheme of service for civil servants. There are terms of engagement of civil servants. So why will anybody say the governor is threatening? They had the rules to apply. He was just visiting them, felicitating with them on the Workers' Day, and while commending them, he admonished those who were not coming up to standard.
Mm. All right, let's bring the conversation into the studio to Bright Ezocha. Bright, do you see that statement that the governor made as an admonition, like he is saying?
No, far from it, far be it. To me, I feel strongly that it was a threat that made the governor look as someone that is sensitive to the plight of the people. This insecurity in the Southeast at the peak of it.
He said it has improved.
How did it improve? Can you walk through the Ihiala to Ozoblo freely and you have 50% guarantee that you will return home? The security there is terrible. Let's tell ourselves the naked truth. The security is terrible. And I was thinking at this point in time, what the government should be doing is looking for a way to dialogue. Because dialogue is the key point here.
With whom?
With those that are aggrieved. Because, first of all, there's a Nnamdi Kanu question and Igbo question to be answered. Mm-hmm. And when these questions are not answered, and you're asking people to embark on a suicide mission, when you ask a worker for someone to move around in the Southeast on Monday, it's a suicider. Because that person you're not sure of that person returning back alive. So why would you threaten somebody that that you should go and risk his life because he wants to have his pay? Those people, they have families. They have people that are dependent on them. So I was thinking that at this point in time, the government should be thinking of way to dialogue, way to reach out. There's need for the Southeast governors, not just Anambra State governor, the Southeast governors to come together, to put heads together and begin to dialogue, begin to ask for a way forward. Because the situation in the Southeast is not helping anybody. Mm. Staying at home on Monday is affecting the economy of the Southeast. Mm. But at the same time, there's an Igbo question that needs to be answered.
What is this question?
Yes, and this question is this. The way Igbos are being treated in Nigeria is unfair. Ethnic profiling against Igbo is unfair. You're not just a governor in the southeast. You're not a governor of Anambra, Imo, Enugu, and whatever. You are also a governor of those Igbos that are living outside Igbo land. We all witnessed the ethnic profiling that took place immediately after the election in places like Southwest and other states, especially in Lagos State. We also witnessed the destruction of Igbo's property in Nigeria State.
Is that what is fueling?
Excuse me.
Hang on.
You have to focus on what is the subject.
It has a lot to do with what is going on in the Southeast.
How so?
I will explain to you.
Right.
I will explain to you. Some years back, people's property were destroyed in Abuja when El-Rufai was capital district, and a lot of people migrated back home.
Okay.
Those people are angry.
And they are killing themselves at home. Is that why they are killing?
I'm saying there's possibility. There's possibility.
Now this is based on assumption.
You are speculating.
It's assumption. See,
You don't assume as fact.
Excuse me. Injustice breeds violence and conflict.
In a society where you belong as a group.
Now, the IPOB people cannot be stupid to just wake up overnight and start all this crisis. And at the same time, the unknown government cannot also wake up overnight and start all this crisis.
So what's their grievance?
There are injustices that are being meted against Igbo for the past decade that nobody cares about. And what I'm saying is this: there's need for us to reach out to these people and begin to dialogue with them, begin to find out what are their grounds.
Let's hear from Dr. Obiogbolu. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to invite Ezechi to Anambra, because obviously he's not Anambra. I'm speaking to you from Oka right now. And in terms of movement of people, there's peaceable movement of people. And like I said earlier, there's no society where there's no crime. Your level of security determines about your response. How do you respond to any criminal activity? Do you apprehend them? And that's what we do in Anambra. Now, when you talk about the IPOB, there's an IPOB leader. Everybody knows that Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo visited him in his part to engage and resolve the insecurity in the Southeast and Anambra in particular. And following that visit, that IPOB leader who was still in detention said that they should stop all violence, that his organization was not known for violence. And they went further to say that they had stopped the prescription of sit at home on Mondays. And it was failure to do that the governor said anybody he finds in the forest will be treated as a terrorist, and we proceeded to flush them out from Anambra State. Now, he also instituted a Truth and Reconciliation Committee, which has also submitted its findings. And in consideration of the fact that these are security issues, the findings are not being made public as at now. So the government of Anambra State is up on its game. And that is what has brought confidence to the people. I mean, you can imagine elections were held peacefully in the state. No violence. Even in those states that were touted to be peaceful, you saw intimidation of voters. In Anambra State, there was no intimidation. We went to the election, the political parties all had a free day. Freedom, fairness, free and fair elections in Anambra. Nobody has said they were victimized. We thank God for those seats we won, and we commended those and congratulated those who won from the opposing parties. So it's not fair for Mr. Ezechi to paint Anambra in bad light, as if they're still insecurity. I can tell you that no worker will be coming to work in Oka from Ihiala or from Umunze. The cost of transportation doesn't make it a reality. It's not profitable.
Do you have a question for him?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, if he say that the security situation in Anambra have improved, in recent time, we heard of what happened in Ihiala, and also in places like Ozoblo and Ihiala are not part of Anambra. I am not saying that people that is fair for people to see. I'm not saying that it's fair. I'm not saying that people is fair. He
said you should be specific with what happened.
We all read in the news on the shootout between the unknown government and the security people from Imo State, between Anambra, Ihiala and Ozoblo. that led to the killing of a lot of
What
people.
date? Because you see, what happens in social media is people trend old news to get their clicks.
You see,
From the adverts.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
the two people in the government.
No,
Let
let
him
him
finish.
finish.
He's still talking. Yeah.
Okay.
No, go ahead, doctor.
Yes, so they trend old news. So when you say last week, what happened? Nothing happened last week. What happened last week was that 3 criminals were apprehended. They stopped a man in a Lexus Jeep, kidnapped him, put him in their own car, and took off. And they were intercepted at a checkpoint. They were paraded. So what I'm telling you is, tell me one incident of violence that has happened in Anambra State in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks. These incidents are just being created by people who want to create havoc in the country. Our state today, we've done so much in employment. We've just trained 10,000 youths on digital skill acquisition. We finished the first cohort. We're going into the second cohort. We've employed 5,000 young teachers to fill the gap in the education sector. We've employed over 300 doctors and nurses.
Right. Now, Bright, you can go ahead.
Creating the new millionaires by planting 1 million palm trees in the state, giving them to less privileged and those below poverty lines. We're creating a register of the aged. So we are trying everything to make sure that, one, people's livelihood are guaranteed, that life is better, and they're also secure. And there's no one who in Anambra State, even and that was why even a former president, former governors came to celebrate with us on our anniversary on a weekday. Everyone is peaceful. So, Mr. Ezechi, I would like to invite you to Anambra so you could have a second thought about these things.
Now, you wanted to react to the statement made by Dr. Ubiegbolu talking about the situation in the state. And I was asking you behind the scene, when was the last time you went to Anambra?
I visit home as regular, but then my being there doesn't really matter.
No, because he is
when
on
you
the
say
ground.
home,
Yes,
where do you go to? Where do you home? What state are you from?
The whole Southeast is my state.
What state are
I'm
you
from
from?
Imo State.
Okay.
But I do, if any of my visit to the Southeast, I touch the 5 states of the Southeast. Then,
When was the last time you went?
I also have members across the Southeast states. And they feed me every minute, every second on what is going on.
When was the
Southeast.
last time you went home, is the question.
That was sometime in January.
Right.
Yes.
And what was the situation on the ground?
The security situation have not improved in any way. Because, for instance, I want like from Olu to Osu to Hiara to Ozobul axis. It's a terrible situation. It's a terrible community to
Because
move in.
so that people understand you are not mixing up the situation in Imo as being in Anambra.
I'm not. So Imo, Anambra, they share the boundary. And they are neighboring states. And whatever is happening in Imo State, there's likely effect that the spillover will come to Anambra. And whatever is happening in Anambra, there's likely effect that spillover will also have a spillover in Imo State. But what I'm saying is this. We have an intelligent community. What's happening to our intelligent community? Nnamdi Kanu have called for peace. IPOB members have associated themselves with the issue of sit at home on Mondays. Somebody is enforcing sit at home on Mondays. What is happening to intelligent community in the Southeast, in the Southeast, especially in the federal government, especially as it affects the Southeast. Someone needs to tell us who is responsible for what is going on in the Southeast. Because all those that we are assumed and we are suspecting to be responsible for all these things I've said, they have no hands in it. And even some of them have even pledged to help the state to fish out those that are responsible for all this crime. But the state is not coming up to support them or to even find a way to discuss with them or to align with them. Because when you say somebody is doing something and the person is willing, volunteering himself to offer support to fight those that they assume.
Who are those that are volunteering?
The IPOB people have volunteered that they are ready to work with the state, to cooperate with the state, to fish out those that are responsible for this. But none of the Southeast governors are making any effort to reach out to them, to collaborate with them.
Let's hear
Don't
from.
trust them.
Let's
I
hear,
don't know.
let's
That's
hear
what
from
they have to
Dr.
tell us.
Mbeogbolu to tell us why the government is not looking to work with IPOB members who say they can't help fish out these people.
I don't know what Mr. Ezechi is saying, because it's as if he's not in Nigeria. Because Professor Charles Soludo had publicly called the federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu, since the courts have set him free. And he publicly stated, if that they have any other thing against him, that he was prepared to take him on bail and keep him in Oka and present him whenever he is needed. He went further than that to also engage the federal government officially. And a lot is being done behind the scene. It's not when you come and start playing to the gallery that everybody applauds you, that you know you've been doing something. Now, the state government, Mr. Ezechi is talking about, Olu is in Imo State. Ozubulu is in Anambra State. There are no incidents that have happened in Ozubulu. I have friends, we just went for a wine carrying last weekend in Ozubulu. Election was conducted in all the 6 wards, political wards of Ozubulu. The 14 wards in Ekusugo, where Ozubulu is located, Ekusugo local government. So where is it coming from? These people said they won't allow elections to hold in Anambra.
While we wait, sir, for the matter of connection to resolve its level, let's bring back the conversation.
When people keep trying to denigrate the state and the image of the state, what will they gain from it?
But he asked a pertinent question with regards to the security unit in the state. What is happening? How is it that the government is gathering information to help resolve whatever security issues are going on within the state?
Is it we work on it? I'll give you an example. When the governor came, he recruited the strike force under vigilante laws. We got 250 members of the strike force. It was this strike force that was able to move into the forest. Then with the support of the state security, the conventional security forces, and they were able to take hold of the situation. And remember that part of this unit, in each of the 21 local governments, we recruited additional 40 security personnel under the Anambra State Vigilante Law. And part of the law is information gathering, intelligence gathering. You don't do there's no success without intel. So an intel is not what you come and share in public or you share on television.
Right. Dr. Mbeogbolu, all right, let's bring back the conversation into the studio here. Said that some of the things that the government is doing is not something you share on television. Except there is some other means you want, or some other thing you want the government to be saying or doing that they are not doing as it stands.
Okay. This thing is beyond rhetorics. Making a press conference, asking the presidency to release Nnamdi Kanu, or promising to take Nnamdi Kanu on bail. All these things are beyond rhetorics. We are elected, assumed to have elected 5 governors in the Southeast. There's need for them to come together. There must be a synergy between the 5 state governors, the Southeast governors, especially when Court of Appeal discharged and acquitted Nnamdi Kanu, who were expecting the 5 Southeast governors to visit the president to find out why is this young man being kept in the detention after being acquitted by the appeal court. We remember, all of us remember when the same appeal court gave a judgment against the Labour, asking ASU to return back to work. Everybody was shouting that ASU must obey the appeal court judgment before any other thing. So why did those who called ASU to obey that court judgment not call the federal government to obey that court judgment to release Nnamdi Kanu before any further discussion? See, this is beyond rhetorics. I can come here and tell you that, oh, all is well in the Southeast, that no problem in the Southeast.
But that's the reason. That's the reason Soludo went to the president and said, release him to me.
It's beyond Soludo alone. There needs to be for them to come together. You see, when the Southeast governors comes together with political leaders in the Southeast and visit the president, categorically on this particular issue,
we
want peace. We want peace in the Southeast, because if detaining that young man continue to cause crisis in the Southeast, what does it take to take him?
But tell me, Soludo said, release him to me. Nnamdi Kanu has said, I'm not responsible for all the things that are going on. So if Nnamdi Kanu is released today, is there any guarantee that the violence will stop?
Well, to me, I feel strong.
Because you are telling me that you have been saying that the problem is because they demolished buildings in Lagos. They attacked because you are bringing a strenuous matter to
Excuse me. Don't misquote me.
No, but
that's what you said.
What I'm trying to say is
you said injustice.
The injustice against the Southeasterners is what is breeding this crisis, this conflict in the Southeast and all over the world.
What are the acts of injustice?
And then I told you the ethnic profiling of the people of the Southeast all over the country.
Where?
It's not necessarily in Lagos alone.
Where commit crime in their state. How?
I'm not saying this is making. We are presuming what could have led to what we find ourselves in.
You are speculating. You are saying.
You see, the truth remains that whether we like it or not, injustice breeds conflict.
What is the injustice?
I will advise you read Johann Gaston.
He's asking specific questions.
To tell me about injustice.
Because the man have studied ethnic conflict in Africa. And
he has not studied conflict in Nigeria. No. He has not studied conflict that happens.
So tell us what the injustices are that are fueling the security issues in the state.
Justice against Indigwe is that every other ethnic nationality is allowed to cast their vote for a candidate of their choice without any repercussion. But in the case of the Southeasterners, they were being threatened. And
threatened where? Threatened where?
But he just told us that
even here in Lagos.
You know how many?
Even here in Lagos. We all witnessed what happened.
Do you know how many?
Why are we denying facts?
I'm asking you a question.
These are facts that we all witnessed.
Listen, I'm asking you a question.
Somebody even threatened that no Igbo person should vote or cast vote for another person.
Did you know what happened?
Were they arrested?
Did you know what happened in the Southeast?
Did you? No, let me ask you first, before you say that. How many polling booths did you have in Lagos? You have over 3,000. The problem you are talking, the problems about polling problems in Nigeria, only in Lagos, only about less than 3% of the polling booths.
And that 3% does not matter.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't matter.
I don't know.
But hold on. You gave an impression as though, because this is the impression that you people give that, the election was massively rigged in less than 3% of the state. And then you forget that when you make those statements, you forget that in the Southeast, there were massive evidence of violence. Somebody's eyes were gouged out. You don't remember that? You don't know. You don't know where a series of women were asked to go and start thumb printing, where we were asked to thumb print the specific place. You don't remember that?
Now, gentlemen,
try to understand what injustice is.
We need to focus on what the
issues are. The issue is not about that. Yeah. The issue is, how did you... The government is saying we did not threaten. Now, we want to know, what was the language the governor used? In what tone did he use it? That it has now become a question of controversy. Because the man is saying, I did not say that I'm going to cut your salaries. I only admonishing you that, look, it is not fair for you to continue to receive salary and not work. Because some people are coming to work. So the people who are coming to work, are they
I guess
spirits.
you are helping the governor to frame his statement now.
No, I'm asking. I'm asking you
just
the
helping the governor to frame
question.
his statement. Because the
No,
governor said,
I didn't frame it. I said it's what the
Okay,
government.
you tell us what the
I'm
governor
telling
said.
you what the government people are saying. That's what I'm saying.
Let's hear what the governor said.
What did the governor say? Did you hear him?
I also have staffs in my house. When I call, if I summon my staffs and I want to advise them, I will advise them to listen. These things you are doing, this is not right. This is not right. I want it to be done this way, and this is the proper way to do this thing. But when I go as far as telling them that if this repeats itself again, I'll be forced to cut down your salary. That is no longer.
Is that the way he said?
Was that what he said?
Was that what he said?
Sorry, can I come in, please?
Okay, let's take comment. Let's just hear from
If
him.
you have the clips.
All right, let's get what he said.
Let me come in because I don't understand what Mr. Ezechi is saying.
Sorry, my name
have
is
a
Mr. Ezosha,
scheme
not
of-
Mr. Ezechi.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Ezosha, please.
Mr. Who, sorry?
Ezocha.
Ezocha, okay,
Yeah.
sorry, forgive me. Mr. Ezocha. I wouldn't understand what you're saying because with civil servants you're referring to, there's a scheme of service. And in the scheme of service, there are rules, regulations, expectations of what every civil servant should do. You don't even need the governor. If you don't come to work, the scheme of service says you will get a query. It also prescribes what will be the punishment. So if, for example, your father calls you and says, my boy, it's not good to steal. When you steal and you get caught, you will go to jail. Will you say your father is threatening you? Is that a threat? I wouldn't understand. Because the rules already of the society says if you steal and get caught, you go to jail if you are prosecuted and convicted. And dad is telling you these are the rules. How will you then say your dad is threatening you? In this case, he commended them. He didn't talk about the commendation. He commended them. He thanked them for what they've been doing for the state. And then at the same time, admonished those who fail to come to work, especially on Mondays. Right now, the state government is trying to install biometric registers that using fingerprints will record when you come to work and when you go. Because we want to increase the efficiency of the civil service.
Doctor, are you saying that what the governor was saying was kind of a subtle threat or more of a subtle threat than admonition? Because you're talking about the rules of the civil service, about queries, about warning, about caution, and all of that.
Yeah, the rules of the civil service is what I'm saying. That's my own further explanation. The governor didn't talk about the rules of the civil service in his statement. But what I'm trying to say to Mr. Ezocha is that the governor needn't threaten anyone because the rules are there already. They're in the books. So why would he be threatening? What he was simply doing was a fatherly talk to them, commending them, thanking them, and at the same time admonishing those, because it's not everybody. There are just a few who, just like you were discussing with Ezocha and told him, the fact that incidents happened, maybe 3%, doesn't mean everywhere was bad. So it's not all the civil servants that don't come to work. Many come to work.
Now, if you are saying the security situation is something that has improved, and yet there are still a section of those who are claiming that something has to be done with regards to that for them to come to work on Mondays, it means they do not have confidence in what the government has done. So how is the government ensuring that it brings some level of confidence to these persons who are still sitting at home such that they can come to work on Mondays?
You know, the beauty of social media is that you can stay in California and type something, and one will think you are in Oka or you are in Lagos. Right? So those who are saying they can't come to work because of insecurity, I don't know where they're coming from. Because your colleagues come. If you live in any
Doctor, are you there? Right. Perhaps
about the businesses. So where this issue of that there's insecurity and that's the reason why we don't come to work on Mondays, I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe Mr. Ezocha, who is in Lagos, will explain better to me.
And now the ball has been thrown in your court.
Well,
Perhaps you could also add to, in responding to him, how the governor should have spoken to the people, to the workers.
First of all, I expect the governors to find out what the problems are or what have made them not to come to work on Mondays. And as they say, the insecurity. These are family men that have dependents on them. And if you are asking someone, perhaps, to come out on Monday, the days he felt threatened by what is going on in the side, this thing is not peculiar to Anambra State alone, even in Imo State. People cannot even go to farm. People cannot open markets. You cannot have that confidence. Because even, not just the unknown gunmen that will attack you, but they don't give you notice when they are going to attack you. They won't tell you where they are hiding. But even at that, if eventually, on the process of trying to attack, and they attack one police officer, and one of the officers is killed in a community, I can assure that community will be in trouble. And it's supposed not to be so. All these are helping to fuel this insecurity in the South.
So how should he have spoken to the people is the issue?
I was expecting that, first of all, you liaise with the workers. Find out where are they coming from. What are the impediments or what is this problem that are stopping them from reaching their place of work on Mondays? Of course, you should know that in the Southeast, you hardly see transporters operating on Mondays. That makes it absolutely difficult for you to access your working place on Mondays. Then if you cannot get transport, then the government should be able to start thinking how to provide vehicles that will convey them and also to provide them security if they are alleged that the security that is the cause of the problems. Because you cannot ask a man, okay, if assume the most average workers in the Anambra State did not have a vehicle to convey themselves to office, and you come out in the morning, you cannot see a vehicle, and you're not even sure of leaving that place alive. Because if there's a vehicle moving around, you can come out and move immediately. Before you know, you can get to your office and you'll be safe. But if you have to stand at the bus stop for hours, the threat will be there. There's possibility that you'll be attacked even at the bus stop on that day. Because on Monday, generally in the South, it's not only Anambra State. It's a dangerous day for people to step out. So the Southeast governors, that's why I say there's need for dialogue. There's need for negotiation. There's need for confidence building. The states have to enkindle the confidence in these people. And there's also need for representation. Those people that are involved, those people that feel are perceived criminals that are involved in this thing, they need to bring them to the table. And with China, that energy they are using now to attack people to...
Negotiating with criminals? Is that what you are talking about?
You call them criminals, you didn't even call them...
Those they assume they're called criminals.
But who are they? If you want to
the state can find out. The state can find them out if they want to. The state have the apparatus to find these people out. They know how to dialogue with them. They know how to reach them. The state know what to do. They don't know what to do it.
If they are criminals, it means that they don't have a cause other than themselves.
That is the tag name. They are tag criminals. But you need to reach out to them. You need to find out their own perspective. You need to find out their own angle to all these issues.
But they've not come out with any charter. Those people, they don't have any charter.
So what are you negotiating with?
They don't have an idea. They don't have anything. They say they are...
Okay, can we start with the one on the table? The Nnamdi Kanu's question. Can we also address...
I didn't send them. I never knew you.
No, they cannot say he sent me. But these people are saying they are doing this thing for him.
When did they say that?
Are you not in Nigeria?
When did they say that? Because we don't see them.
But their leader has said that he's not doing this.
With the detention of Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes,
am I right?
But Nnamdi Kanu says, okay,
he has no hand in it.
And after that, have the attack
stopped.
Are some people taking advantage of it in order to kidnap?
Then let the intelligence community find out those who are responsible. It is not my duty to find out those who are responsible for this thing. It's not your duty either. The intelligence community should find out those who have refused to heed to this advice.
And we've been on it, and we found them, and we're apprehending them, and we are neutralizing those that need to be neutralized in action, and the place is safe. Mr. Zocha, I need to invite you to the state. I'm happy
Are you taking the
you said it was from news.
Doctor, please, I want you to answer this question.
Yes.
Those people who have been arrested, have they said that they have any cause? Have they told you people that there's a reason we are doing it, that we are doing it on behalf of Nnamdi Kanu, or we are doing it on behalf of a particular organization other than Nnamdi Kanu? Have they said that?
Okay, what you said is correct. Many of them who were caught will allege that they are members of IPOB, but there's no register. There's nowhere your name is listed as a member of IPOB. And the IPOB organization, through their normal channel, will say these people are not our members. And I'll give you an example to show you the improvement in the security in Anambra State. Before, when many of them were caught, they will be traced to the forest. Their base will be a forest within the state. But this one, those three that were caught last week, all the three of them said they were coming from, I think, Abia or Imo. So you can see that they no more have a base in Anambra State. And then again, what Mr. Ezocha is saying, I will appeal to him to reach out, if he represents an organization, to reach out behind the scene, because these things are not usually what you come to the television and say, and help in your own way. Because security is not one person, it's collective.
All right.
It's collective. So you come out, and if you have information, you come back door, and we get the information. The state government will act on it. I can assure you. If you feel that the members of IPOB who are still involved in these criminal acts.
All right. We must thank you, Dr. Alex Obiogbolu, advisor to the governor of Anambra State, for your time on the program. And then we also thank you, President Igbo Youth Congress, Bright Ezocha, for your time on the program as well. Dr. Obiogbolu has extended a hand of invitation to you to come to the state. I hope you will take that, and any information you have, you can share with him, as he has said. Well, this is where
I don't need to go to the States
all right.
to be able to contribute my own quota.
All right, you know how to do it then. This is where we draw the curtains on the program this morning. On behalf of my colleague Kemi Fola Adeyemo, as well as Sam Omashe, I must thank you for being a part of the show.